hiking the Appalachian Trail. The phone rang. It was Mark calling from the car. "Hey, how are you?" he asked quietly. "How am I? How do you think I am?" I sighed. "Jenny, be gentle with me," he said in a tired voice. "Gentle?" I asked incredulously. "Do you know what kind of a storm you are returning to? And where do we stand?" "The good news is it's over now," he said of his affair, and then added, "I've already met with a reporter at the airport and told her of my love of adventure travel and so on. I'll call you after I get to Columbia." I asked again, "What about us?" "I told you it's all behind us. Everything's good." Good? What part of this did he think was good, I wondered. I had been anticipating this call, searching for the right way to respond, but everything about his manner caught me off guard, beginning with his blasé tone. I don't know what he could have said to soothe me, but at least I expected an apology and some expression of regret. I hadn't detected a note of that in his voice. He was riding down the highway with Chris, arranging for a press conference later that morning, and I was one of a number of things he was dealing with. By the time we hung up, I hoped it was slowly dawning on him that this story about his adventure wasn't going to hold. There had been many a morning in the 6 months since I discovered his affair when I had cried about the state of my marriage, and just as many evenings spent praying with my 2 girlfriends, Franny and Lala Lee. This morning, at least, I wasn't going to cry. I was the one who needed to get my head right. I grabbed my iPod, smeared on some sunblock, and headed out the back gate to the beach, some 200 yards away. The sun was moving quickly higher in the slate blue sky, and the air was hot and sticky, but that thickness didn't dim the sparkle of the sea. My spirit lifted as soon as I set my flip-flops in the sand. Orange and yellow wildflowers lined the path behind our house that leads to the shore. His Strength is Perfect was the first tune on my iPod, which helped my spirits too, as I emerged from the corridor of low dunes and saw the broad beach before me. This was not in my control, not in my hands, I thought, as the song changed to I Can Only Imagine. What my future held was something I, the woman who always thought years ahead, now couldn't imagine. Could I imagine a life without Mark, the man whose ambitions had been the center of all that we had done as a family for 20 years? Without him, what was our direction? And how did he feel about me now that he had seen her? Once we got through this day, both of us had life-changing decisions to make. I walked more quickly along the shore, smiling when I saw dolphins playing in the surf. At the beach, I feel wondrously small. My problems are insignificant in this big, beautiful world. This would all sort itself out, and at some point, I would know what to do next. I felt certain of that and that only. I breathed steadily, more deeply, and drank in the peace the sea affords, a tremendous luxury in a world and life otherwise very public. When I returned, I found that Lala Lee Campson, one of my oldest friends in South Carolina, had let herself in. Of course she was there. I could have guessed that she would be from the moment I'd turned up the path home. She sat at the kitchen island with a notepad and a pen, fielding calls. Petite, bright-eyed, and always smiling, Lala Lee was the first of Mark's childhood friends to embrace me when this Midwestern Catholic girl found herself living in the Deep South. In those carefree days before politics consumed my time, we'd boated together and played many sets of tennis. Our boys had become good friends, almost as close as Lala Lee and I had. I was grateful for her steady presence. Whatever this day brought me, we would face it together. I heard the door to the carport slam and went to the top of the stairs to see Franny Reese, my closest friend on the island, sprinting upstairs toward me, a bundle of energy in her shorts and bathing suit. She had 2 cups from Starbucks and handed me one. When we first moved to Sullivan's Island back in 1998, Franny's husband, Tim, was away almost as much as Mark had been during his years serving in Congress. She and I started out as carpool pals, but within months we were picking up each other's kids after school, taking them to appointments and to practices, and eating dinner frequently at each other's homes, herding our kids around like one big mob. Recently, when my sister Kathy moved to Charleston and had a baby of her own, she fell seamlessly into Franny's generosity. Franny came to see how I was doing that morning. She said she'd be back before Mark's press conference. I retreated to shower and freshen up. As I finished getting dressed, I heard Kathy's boisterous voice filling the main room as she came through the front door. She's an artist with a wicked sense of humor who, like our mom, knows how to make an entrance. "He wasn't hiking the Appalachian Trail," she announced. "He was getting Argentine tail." I laughed. How good it